Okay, guys, so let's talk about the recent verdict and the recent release of Jonathan Majors. So this was something that kind of just hit the internet yesterday. I wasn't expecting a verdict to happen so soon, but the verdict happened yesterday, and shortly after, Marvel and Disney went ahead and released Jonathan Majors, and this has a whole plethora of repercussions. What's going to happen to the MCU? Who's going to be the next big bad? What's going on? Blah 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 blah. Now, me personally, I purposely stayed out of the Jonathan Majors news because I just like the Johnny Depp news. I didn't want to come in and try to talk about something that, let's be honest, I wasn't really following, and I didn't want to have to kind of like bullshit my way, making it sound like I know about something when it's like politics, right? Like a lot of people talk about politics. I don't talk about politics. Most of the reason, the number one reason why I don't talk about politics is because I don't follow politics and I don't really get the whole gist of it. To me, left side, right side, to me, they kind of all feel the same, to be honest with you. That's about my stance in politics. So when it comes to the Jonathan Majors stuff, I don't know everything that happens, and I to be honest with you, I care less. I really don't. I really don't care about what's going on. All I know is was it months ago, maybe a year ago, he got into an altercation with his girlfriend, and he dropped her off, or told the limo driver or Uber driver to drive her home or whatever. That's the extent of it, right? And at that point, everybody was like, "Oh, he did this, he did this, he needs to go, they need to fire him." So the way I'm coming at this video is I'm just gonna give you my opinion on the verdict, what's gonna happen to Jonathan Majors, and most importantly, the MCU moving forward. Because one, I don't think the Kang story was hitting anyway, right? To me, that was just the multiverse storyline that they were doing was very, very messy. It didn't seem coherent at all. It isn't what we're accustomed to in the MCU. And to bring in Kang, other than a few cool things, then it just kind of fell flat, You look at something like you introduce Kang and Ant-Man Quantumania, Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, right? Didn't move the needle at all. That movie did horribly in the box office. And then you look back at, Thanos, who was a very promising figure in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And yes, they're two completely different movies, and it was Marvel during their peak Marvelness, but that was also the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, introducing Thanos in a prominent role compared to a third Ant-Man movie, which had your next big bad. The Kang character wasn't moving the needle for a lot of people. Wasn't moving the needle for me. But as I say that though, I am a fan of Jonathan Majors. I think Jonathan Majors is a fantastic actor. I'm not going to get into his personal life. His personal life means nothing to me. Okay, absolutely. I like so many people look at these actors and they idolize these people, right? And they fail to understand that they're just human like you and me. You cut them, they bleed, they cry, they put their pants on one leg at a time. Everybody sits down to take a shit. If not, you're fucking weird if you don't sit down and take a shit. I'm just gonna say that. But all these actors, they're all normal people for the most part. They're just, well, I want to say normal, okay? Because some of them are out there like Pluto, man. But they're all people, you know. So I never understood the whole idolizing these actors and directors and all this stuff. People really idolize these people, and you Zack Snyder people, man. You guys are the worst, the absolute worst. But with that said, um, I will say this about Disney firing Jonathan Majors after the verdict. There's a few people out there that think that Disney was dead wrong for doing this. I will say this. One, as a company, they really had no choice, And if anybody feels like they did and don't see Disney's side, then one, you never ran a business, or two, you never managed a business. Because if you ran a business and managed a business, you cannot do anything to hurt your business, the perception of your business. Okay, so anybody who says Disney was wrong to fire Jonathan Majors, then you are just diluted in the head and you don't understand. Like, you're probably sitting at home living with your mom. You got your safety net, never really been into the real world, don't know how the real world actually works. And when it comes to a business, you can't do anything to jeopardize your business. I will say this on the fence of Disney, at least they waited for a verdict. Okay, they waited for a verdict, unlike many times where they went back and fired James Gunn for tweets he made like 10 years in the past. Johnny Depp was released of all of his stuff over on Warner Brothers. Come to find out, he was innocent the entire time. There has been a lot of cases throughout recent Hollywood where companies would just drop certain actors and come to find out these people were innocent. So at least Disney waited for the verdict, because if the verdict would have came back innocent, then I feel he might still be there. I feel like he might still be there. But he came back guilty. I mean, he's not going to prison, guys. He can see up to a year's jail time. He's not going to jail. I feel like the crime that it was like 2 misdemeanors, right? Like it was like the crime was nothing, right? Like I won't come out and say it was nothing, right? Because obviously it was something if it went to trial and everything. But in terms of some stuff that we see, like this is pretty much really this to me. And again, take this with a grain of salt. Like I said, I haven't been following the case. I don't get into the nitty-gritty. This feels like an altercation between a man and his girl that really just kind of spiraled out of control, right? If the police never got involved, I felt like this was something where it could have just been a phone call or a text message. Maybe they break up and they go their separate ways. But him being a rising star actor and the police getting involved, it kind of escalated, so that's sort of what happens. I mean, I've seen this sort of thing happen before where it was like pretty much nothing, but it escalates into something once you get the police involved and all that. So I don't want to say it was nothing, but it didn't need to rise to the level that it did. But it did. And it went to court and there was a verdict. And Disney said, okay, we have to let Jonathan Majors go. If anything, I think we need to look at this as a silver lining, because maybe they'll course correct now. Maybe instead of trying to throw Kang down everybody's throat, maybe we'll finally get Doctor Doom in there, and maybe we'll start paying off the end of Eternals with the Celestial, and we might get Galactus coming. So there's different ways to look at this. Look at the silver lining of it. But I just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in here on the whole Jonathan Majors thing. Like I said, I'm not court watching. I'm not like looking at everything he does. I don't look at Jonathan Majors any different than I did 4 or 5 days ago or 3, 4, 5 months ago. I still think he's a fantastic actor. He's a great talent. If he makes future movies that look interesting, I'm going to go see those future movies. I'm not going to let this incident, jeopardize how I feel about the actor, right? Because I got newsflash for you guys. A lot of these actors and directors that you like are all douchebags, right? The majority of them are all douchebags. So don't let something like this jeopardize what you think of Jonathan Majors. But if you feel the way you do, no one is to tell you you're wrong for feeling the way that you feel. So, you guys do you, we do we, and we're all going to just be very, very happy, okay? I did not mean for that to rhyme, but it kind of did. What the hell is in my hot cocoa? Oh, maybe we can start moving to this in the MCU. Da-na-na-na-na. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I ain't got a whole lot to say on this topic, to be honest with you. Just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. Like, to me, there's way more bigger things happening right now. What's going on with Gerard from The Completionist? With him embezzling, charity money. To me, that's way bigger news than Jonathan Majors, because Jonathan Majors is gonna be fine. He won't be Kang no more, but he's gonna be fine. He's gonna find work. But what's going on with Gerard and him embezzling years and years of charity money and fundraiser money? That's the story to talk about. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for everything. I love you. Stay safe and have a happy holiday. Later, guys.